Brian, head down to Hank Davis's car. It looks like he may be biked
I'm right
up.
here.
Yeah.
No, Hank's, I don't know if he got into something, maybe the berm, but the left rub rail's rubbing on the left rear tire. You can see the streak where it was rubbing there during hot laps. Timmy Buckwalter's down here. They're trying to pry it off so that Hank doesn't have this tire rub here on the left rear, but it doesn't look like they're too successful right now.
We need somebody with a ratchet strap like we saw.
He's prying against himself right there.
Yeah, it needs to go the other way. We're going to get a K1 Race Gear replay as to what happened. There's Grant coming into your screen, up
It just
and down.
biked up.
Those left rears and your room to work in there are already so tight just on the suspension end of it. And I was noticing this a little bit earlier. It doesn't take much of a bend on any of those parts or components to have a rub or something binding up.
They got a pry bar here now, guys. Somebody from the crew ran up and grabbed a pry bar. And
they need to get in on that and be reefing it like towards the camera. I'd almost come vertical down over the top, right?
Interesting tool there.
The horn has blown.
Yep.
They're clearing everybody out now.
Just give it one big rub.
Yeah, the official's standing right there like, time's up.
Yeah.
Well, this will be fun. Interesting to watch.
Davis made some ground in a pole shuffle a couple of years ago. I want to say he picked up 4 or 5 spots.
Yeah.
The year he won, correct?
It was the year that Baston had the monster run on the prelim night. He drove past Baston in that pole shuffle and picked up a number of spots that same run. So he's pretty good at this. But now he has got quite the hamper.
He's going to have 3 laps to hang on to it as here we go. Chili Belay made pole shuffle underway. CJ Leary first on the racetrack in the Ally 55X. A runner-up on his prelim night. As Terry Maddox will wave the green flag, Justin Grant going to join. So these are the drivers that do 10 and 9.
Winners moves on. Loser starts 10th. Times will come up.
I really liked how Leary got in above it in turn 3 there. I think you create a lot of speed through the center of the corner that way.
Grant a little bit better. Ow, that's going to hurt Justin Grant on the second lap. And there's the checkered. It's 2 on the clock, guys.
Yeah.
12.993 for Leary, a 12.903 for Justin Grant. So Grant sneaks in and will hold on and move on. CJ Leary will fire off 10th.
Bricks Danner now fires out. It's a chance for Grant to pick up an entire row if he wins. Danner would drop to starting 9th if he loses. Winner moves on to take on Hank Davis. And if they can get to Davis, they've got to be looking at that as blood in the water.
Yeah.
Grant has now got a couple of laps. See if that helps some rhythm at all. That lap number 2, he really went hopping. White flag out. First lap on the clock for Briggs Danner. 12.8. Grant 13.1. And here comes Danner, lap number 2. 12.7.
Good pickup for Briggs Danner. Grant picks it up to a 12.906, but not going to be enough.
All right, no change off the back row in this one.
So Grant will start 9th. CJ Leary locked into 10th. Briggs Danner with an opportunity to either start 8th or 7th as here comes Hank Davis. And all eyes will be on that left rear and the potential rub there from the Nerf bar.
12.7 would have been a really good lap when all of them were out there. That would have been about 2nd or 3rd quick.
Yeah, 2nd quick.
All right, they're on the hammer. Green is out. It'll be Davis logging the first lap. He'll set the benchmark down the back straightaway and see how messed up that race car is. Way up and over the cushion. It might have launched him. 12.7 for Davis. Danner better. 12.737, 200ths quicker.
I think this is going to be faster for Hank.
Hang on, Briggs Danner.
No.
And it's going to be Danner taking the win. So Davis will now start 8th. Briggs Danner going forward.
So Davis loses a position. There's what Caleb was talking about. Brooks Danner now through 2. Here comes Dason Pursley, runner-up in the championship finale a year ago, runner-up on his prelim night.
Pursley really knows how to throw a good lap down here in these qualifying type scenarios. He's definitely within his skill set. The 86 looks really quick. Little wheel stand coming off the corner. Pursley 12.722. Danner, first shot at matching it. 12.8. Danner, can he improve at all? Pursley 12.674. And Brooks Danner gonna pull one out here. No, 12.771. So the back row swaps the spot. And now Dason Pursley, highest starting up of the second place guys, the runners up, takes on Christopher Bell. The chance to shuffle Bell backwards.
Love this onboard shot here from Christopher Bell on the bottom as you see them get up to speed. Bell threw out a heater in qualifying for the Race of Champions on Monday. Track's so much different now as he'll try the bottom in 1 and 2. Early lap for Bell, 13.109, a 12.926 for Dason Pursley.
Bell went to the bottom of 3 and 4. Good move, 12.736. Pursley denied.
Wow.
Okay.
So Pursley will start 6th.
It shows you how hard this racetrack is. I mean, we saw Pursley go in the 6s, and then all of a sudden is, a half second off that pace, just trying to recreate that lap.
Well, if anybody's got...
If Bell can run consistent 7s on the bottom, that's probably a safe way to go.
It's a chance for Bell to pick up a row here as he takes on the Tuesday night feature winner. Thursday versus Tuesday here. Blake Hahn up and around the high groove, and Bell keeps it low. He's going to stay low through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Bell with a 12.908.
Blake got super tight up on the cushion
and was still faster.
12.752. Hang on to it, Blake Hahn. Kissed the wall there a little bit, bouncing like a pogo stick. We'll shut her down here at the end of this one. Bell down the back straightaway.
Hahn barely beat Bell out on Bell's second lap. 7.73 to a 7.52.
But Hahn did defend his row.
Yeah.
So now Hahn versus Seavey.
Cheers from the crowd for Blake Hahn's efforts on that one.
Logan Seavey trying to defend 3rd place here to take a shot to run up on his teammate Emerson Axum and steal the front row away from him. Logan up top. Blake, car finds some speed. Big hippity hop off the curb. White flag out for Logan Seavey. 13-1. Here comes Blake Hahn. Can he eclipse 13-1? Yes, sir. 12.827. Hahn with a chance to steal 3rd goes hopping again.
Oh,
Seavey 13-0. Hahn's going to move on.
Yeah, but he's got the same tire up Hank Davis does. I think he's bounced that left rear enough that felt like I saw smoke coming off his left rear tire. His Nerf bars into it.
So Seavey's going to be outside row number 2 now. Blake Hahn moves on. Blake Hahn with a chance, even with the dinged up left rear. Can he steal the front row from Emerson Axum?
Plenty of clearance on his left rear for Hahn, Clint.
It's just been a handful to hang on to for Blake, but he's managed to cut 1 good lap every time. It's interesting for Blake, a guy over the most of his career that hasn't spent a lot of time qualifying. Running a lot of Winged ASCS competition back when they were pill drawing more often than timing in. Axum lays a really good one down at 12.8. Will come off the bottom and not faster on lap 2. And the run ends for Blake at a 13-1. So as opposed to prior years where we had some guys running up and through and we had some fireworks, not a lot of movement, spot here, spot there.
Yeah.
Rows stay the same, just swap into the inside out. But now a chance for Emerson Axum to say, hey, Kyle Larson, I'm faster than you, at least in this environment. And you know he wants to.
We'll see what he opts to do as far as the lines here on this kind of tricky racetrack as Larson gets up to speed. Final round of the pole shuffle. Axum versus Larson.
Axum went down to the bottom and has found a line he likes down there for a 12.719.
Larson using that turn down, entering above the cushion, this time in 1 and 2. We'll ride it all the way around. Was he doing 3 and 4?
Oh, Kyle nailed it.
That looked good.
Kyle nailed it in 3 and 4.
And takes the win.
Yep.
12.693 for Kyle Larson, who will lead the field to green in the 55 lapper here tonight.
How many times has he done that in his career?
Oh, it's insane.
A lot.
Remember last year, he got up and over the ramp on the wall, still kept it going?
Yep.
Seems to be a Kyle Larson thing. So Larson beats Axum. The total margin of victory there, 0.026 between the best laps between them. That's what it takes, but Kyle Larson is the pole shuffle winner for 2026, and your pole sitter once again. Larson and Axum, Hahn and Seavey, Bell and Pursley, Danner and Davis, Grant and Leary will be the starting 5 rows here in tonight's A main event.
There's some speed there that's not on the front row. I mean, Pursley laid down that huge lap there in the hot lap session. I think when we get a little bit different of a starting racetrack, you're going to see some of these guys get after it for sure. As you take a look at the Flying A Motorsports Pit Cam, a busy championship Saturday. As we get oh so close to opening ceremonies, we have 2 C features left, 2 B features, and of course our 55 lapper.
Incredible day here in the Expo, a record-setting day at the biggest Chili Bowl Nationals ever. If you missed it earlier, some gigantic soup runs, and the stars of the morning, the guy who's going to shine the brightest will be Mac Leopard, who had 9 features total that he ended up getting through. He won 4 feature events within that run. That is an all-time record, as well as the 9 features run, and the all-time record for most cars passed in sub-features, as well, as he got into the 70s by the time he was done with that. Darren Nida right there with him, lockstep most of the way. He also ended up at 9 features in, and if you guys missed that earlier today, what a run that was between those guys. We had multiple different drivers make 6 features. We had only had 6 guys do it prior to the soup runs today. Today we had 4 different drivers who got into 6 main events or more over the course of the afternoon. It was incredible.
And it started early. It was so much fun this morning. Go back and watch it if you missed it. I know there were a lot of people that had plans maybe in the morning that were put on hold for several hours. I mean, if you think about it, Darren Nida and Mac Leopard each were racing actively in the process of the soup for nearly 6 hours this morning from when they began just after 9 o'clock Central Time this morning. So a lot of fun, a lot of action. Clinton, I know we enjoyed it up there at the top of the ramp. It set us up for what I think is going to be a great ending to Championship Saturday.
Definitely, and I can't get over how many people are here. It's absolutely insane up there, and like we talked about all week long, the energy is crazy, and I feel like if we could double the size of the grandstands, it would be more than full with how many people are in the pit area right now.
There is definitely some good vibes in this building right now. People are having a really good time. They have been entertained all day long, and coming up next for them on the program is one of the best opening ceremonies you're ever going to have in motorsports. That is due out. We got some things to get to before then. The rowdies are rowdy. The cold brew is flowing quite nicely, and all of us here in Flow Racing are getting ready for the Chili's pre-race show. That's right. Chase and B-Walks getting into position. Will's getting the chairs all set up perfect. I believe we'll get Tony Laporta up into the stage as well. Those 3 getting ready for our Chili's pre-race show, which is coming up here on Flow Racing as our live coverage of the 40th Annual Chili Bowl Midget Nationals continues on, powered by NOS Energy on Flow Racing. One more time down in the booth as you look at the gorgeous sun setting here in Tulsa, Oklahoma from downtown. It is the Chili Bowl Nationals, the 40th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy Drink here on Flow Racing. Caleb Hart, Clinton Boyles, and Chris Wilner with you in the booth at the moment from the Flying A pit shot down in the back. And we are getting ready as things just about ready to go up top. As for the final time this week, we have got ourselves a Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show. Up top we go to Chase Rodman, Wikipedia, and Tony Laporta.
Yeah, thank you very much, Caleb. We're going to call it the Chili's mid-race show today there, Brian. I think we are right in the middle of the racing program, of course. And as you can see, Tony Laporta is not invisible. He's just not up here quite yet. He's been having to take care of his duties, of course, down in the infield here for the PA system. He'll be up here in just a few moments. But this first segment, it'll be myself and Brian Walker taking you through some of the things we've seen so far today, Brian. It has been an electric start to the day. Of course, there's been some guys making and equaling Chili Bowl history. We'll talk more about that here in just a few moments. But the track, in my opinion, all day long has just been perfect. The guys down there, Chili Bowl Gravel and everybody else, it seems like they have been just nailing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask much more than what we've seen today. Obviously, the one rework we did have, I know it sucks when it's going to happen to someone, right? It's going to come at a bad time.
Which is what happened to Mac Leopard.
Mac Leopard's run ended, and then obviously so many other people in that, I believe it was F Main that rolled out there after that. But, I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles more than anything when you're racing 33 mains today, I think. We're running over 400 laps. It's just going to happen that way. But like you said, for the most part, impeccable, I think. I mean, the racing has been outstanding all the way from the O main to the J main, all the way
They've given
through.
these guys 2 lanes of racing to work with almost every single feature so far. Also, 387 drivers. That was the end tally as far as entries go. But now, Brian, it's been whittled down to about 80, right? Just 80 guys or so left to try and go for the Chili Bowl crown.
Yeah, and they're about 80 of the best you'd expect to be there, right? You know, we're all the way down to only preliminary starters now. What we have C mains left. Those are your top 14 finishers on prelim nights, and it's only going to get more hectic from here, I think, right? The C mains are going to be 15 laps again, top 5 transfers, and those B mains, they're talked about every single year about how anywhere else in the country, those are some of the toughest A mains you'll find, and it's top 7, 20 laps. You talk to drivers, that's some of the most nervous 20 laps they run all year.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Let's take a look at today's menu because there is not much left as far as the schedule of events goes. Brian just mentioned it's two C mains coming up, 15 laps in those. And is it the top 4 or is it the top 5?
It is the top 5.
Okay, so top 5 will transfer to the B main. And in the B mains, that's where things really change. Almost a full feature, 20 laps in the Bs with the top 7 going to the tail end of the feature, which is 55 laps the distance and $20,000 going to the winner. No one cares about how much it pays to win. It's all about the driller.
Absolutely. That golden guy is what everyone's been chasing for 40 years now.
Yep.
It's iconic around the whole world. That's what people grow up dreaming about, having in their mandal one day.
Let's take a look at what is cooking so far today. And as we mentioned, soup has been cooking all day long, especially for 2 drivers that may have made some new fans, and maybe they should make some new T-shirts as well after these runs. Brian, you have all of the numbers on these guys, but Darren Nida in the Dan Beeks number 3 and Mac Leopard in the number 14, they have been talked about all day as Nida went from the O main to the G main, tied the record at the time for plus 69 positions, which is nice, and Mac Leopard then breaking that record later on. He goes from the N main to the F main at plus 73 positions. He was on the track for what, like 6 hours or something?
He was alive for 6 hours, 95 laps.
I mean, that is unbelievable. You see Nida making his way through, and this is what we're talking about with the racetrack. These guys, they would not be able to go through 8, 9, 10 mains if the track was not good enough for them to make passes, and Nida did it with his shock ratchet strapped to the car on the left front. It was blown out almost the entire time, and he was still able to drive up through the field several times. Him and Mac Leopard, the other thing was impressive is they were in the same group the whole time through there.
Yeah, this is what Saturday of the Chili Bowl is all about. Just turning around at the top of the ramp, thrashing on your car and going back out and just running it all the way through the soup.
And I was sitting over in turn 2, of course, where all the rowdies are at, and every time the checkered came out for these 2 guys, it was going bananas over in turn 2. They absolutely loved watching Mac Leopard and Darren Nida make their way up through the field. There were a couple other guys that had some solid runs, like Cody Brewer, right? He had a couple mains he made it through.
Cody Brewer made it through 6 mains. Jace Park made it through 6 mains as well.
Yeah, so a lot of guys making their way up through there. And so Leopard, give us the numbers. He has the new record, right?
Yeah, Mac Leopard, along with Darren Nida, him and Darren Nida now share the most mains in a single day. Those 2 single-handedly changed, the landscape of the alphabet soup history books. You look at Mac Leopard's run here, all the way from the N to the F. That is insane. And what's most impressive, too, is I think winning 4 races. Yeah. That is the most in history as well. So he has all these accolades to his honor now. He made a name for himself. We talked about this with Sunshine all week long. That was plus 73. That broke J.J. Yaley's plus 69 in 2004, 22 years ago when he ran from the F to the podium.
That is a really good graphic right there. First to first, 11th to first, 11th to third, 11th to second, 10th to first, 11th to first, 11th to fourth, 14th to second, 17th to ninth. Call me an auctioneer, Brian. That is a really good graphic right there on Mac Leopard's soup run that has now broken the best run by anybody else in Chili Bowl Nationals history. The other thing that's cooking today is coming up here in just a little bit, and that is the B mains. And we're calling them the Matt Wood Racing B mains because 5 of their 6 cars are going to be taking their chance and I think there's 3 in B main number 1 and 2 in B main number 2. And their other car, Austin Wood, is in the C main with a good chance to make it into those B mains as well.
Yeah, I would love to if we can get a heart rate monitor on Matt Wood, maybe Shane Golobic as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to set all these cars up, go out and race against them. It is nice, obviously, the top 7 transfer. You kind of have a little bit of buffer, especially as well as
20 laps.
20 laps. Yep. They all ran so well that they're starting near the front. I think in one of the B mains that they start 1-3 or 1-3-5. Yeah, they're the entire
Right on the
inside
bottom,
line. So it's going to be interesting to not only see how many they can get in the A main, but also how they race each other, I think.
Yeah, remember Matt Wood Racing, they had a third place, and 2 fourth places, and then Austin Wood was, I want to say, 10th or 11th on his night. So they are going to be very interesting to watch when it comes to these B mains later on in the racing program. The final thing that we have for what's cooking is those treacherous track conditions. During that pole shuffle, there was many guys getting up on the bike, ringing the bell on the handlebars there, almost flipping over, just all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. I saw, Hank Davis got on the bike and blew the Nerf bar into the left rear tire. Blake Hahn, he got up on the bike a couple times. We even saw Christopher Bell try and run the bottom there to try and avoid from making those types of issues. He got through, I think, one of those pairings, but then he got beat by Blake Hahn. But treacherous conditions during the pole shuffle, which I like to see. I'd rather see them do that than go out there, rework the track, and be Mach 1 and be easy to run around.
Oh, I 100% agree. Yeah, it's incredibly entertaining pole shuffle as far as seeing how they attack the track. It was interesting to see Bell dart to the bottom and pick up so much speed. You saw it last year. I think Larson biked up huge, almost wadded thing up. I think a couple years ago Spencer Baston did.
He did, yes.
It was a mad thrash to even get ready for the A main. So it's always interesting to see, honestly, how hard they kind of do push it, knowing that we have to run 55 laps later.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out for later on. That pole shuffle was very, very fun to watch. Let's take a break here on the Chili's mid-race show. We'll bring Tony Laporta back in and we'll listen to Brian Walker about some of his triple dipping stats before we get into the final portion of the 40th annual Chili Bowl Midget Nationals.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Eibach Pro Truck Lift Stage 3R. Proudly made in the USA. Designed for the most rugged and demanding off-road trails. Featuring front 2.5-inch coilovers and rear 2.5-inch reservoir shocks. Developed to provide maximum traction, consistency, and control off-road and on-road.
The 3 for Me, only at Chili's, keeps getting even better with the Big QP and all this for just $10.99. With 85% more beef, it makes a quarter-pound burger look tiny and, well, yeah, tiny. This Chili's 3 for Me is the best $10.99 you can eat.
Tickets are on sale now for the 10th Bommarito Automotive Group 500 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Sunday, June 7th features 3 huge races. The USAC Classic, Firestone Indy Next, and the only Sunday night prime time NTT IndyCar Series race. Enjoy a weekend of cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. The stars of the Indy 500 are coming to St. Louis. Get your tickets now and save big at www.raceway.com.
Racers don't slow down, and neither do we. At Factory 14, quality products, proven performance, and unmatched service come together under one roof. Our showroom is packed with everything for junior sprints to sprint cars, all ready for race day. Our race team and development program are shaping the future of this sport. And with professional trackside support across the country, you're never alone when you're part of our team. One team, one standard, always accessible. Factory 14, excellence in every detail.
Impact Race Gear is your source for custom race shirts. We are certain that you will see the same things that hundreds of racetracks, teams, organizations, and manufacturers have already discovered. When it comes to quality and service, we simply can't be beat. We are not one of those here today, gone tomorrow print shops. Impact Race Gear has been trusted for years by racers all across the country. Give your fans and sponsors what they deserve. Simply awesome race shirts. Visit us online at impactracegear.com to learn more and start your order today.
The biggest night in pavement late model racing history.
This is our Daytona 500.
It's the biggest race of the year.
Destiny fulfilled! This is the biggest race I've ever won.
The best dirt late model series in America.
The Chili's mid-race show continues on. I made up the new name, so I can't exactly say it right. We've been saying pre-race show all day long and all week long. But here it is. We're back on the Chili stage. Tony Laporta's back up here after making his way through the infield and back up here to the pit area. And Tony, you have been here along with Brian Walker since the crack of dawn. I am not going to pretend like I was. I got here around maybe noon or so, watched Darren Knight and Mac Lepper make it through a couple of mains, but you've been here all morning. What's it been like watching those two guys and the rest of the action on the track? And, you know, with these fans, I mean, they were here super early, of course, and they have been absolutely pumped up watching those guys.
Well, I appreciate that honesty. You know, thanks for just getting out in front of it. I'm glad you are here. I wish you would have been here this morning because, yeah, you're right. It was amazing. I've actually been able to hang out up in the PA booth here at the Tulsa Expo Raceway. It's no booth. We're just at the very top level of the grandstands. But Brian Holbert, Randy Ward, and I have been treated to some great on-track action, as so has everybody who's been watching live on Flow. But you're right. The thing that has set it aside, and this is why I encourage everybody to watch it live on Flow, but then come and take it in live in person, is because the people that make it what it is.
Well, we have got the flag ceremony, the very well-known Chili Bowl Nationals flag ceremony going on right now, so that means let's go downstairs to Brian Holbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tulsa. The 40th running of the Chili Bowl Nationals powered by NOS Energy Drink. Ladies and gentlemen, the start of this event, the experiment that it was, has grown into something that the Hahn and Edwards families could have never imagined. A little over 40 drivers in attendance to this event in year one, to this year receiving 407 entries. The first time this event has ever received more than 400 entries, and a record-breaking 387 of those entries confirming they were here to compete. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, a round of applause for all the drivers who checked in to race this year. And on that, a thank you and a round of applause to the Hahn and Edwards families for their vision of a race here in Tulsa to be what it is today. Lanny, Fuzzy, Beverly, while gone, would be so proud to see what their families have done. To Emmett, Donna, Steve, to Emmett's grandchildren, all who are involved with this event, thank you from all of us and all the fans for what you've done. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take this time, as is tradition, to introduce the drivers who have made their way from over 35 states and 6 countries to be with you here tonight. We begin, ladies and gentlemen, by welcoming the drivers from Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the drivers of Canada. Please welcome the driver from the Netherlands. From Downway, welcome the drivers of New Zealand. Please welcome the drivers of the United Kingdom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome the drivers of the United States. Please welcome the drivers of Alaska. The home of Rebels. Welcome the drivers of Alabama. The natural state. Welcome the drivers of Arkansas. From the home of the Western world, it's the drivers of Arizona. Where they play on Turkey Night, it's the drivers of California. On that Denver high, it's the drivers of Colorado. From the original 13, the drivers of Delaware. Dirt Games and Winter Dirt Games and Dirt Car Nationals reign in the state of Florida. Where they hold the biggest sprint car race in the land. It's the drivers of Iowa. Please welcome the drivers of Idaho. From the land of dirt miles, the drivers of Illinois. Where non-wing racing, USAC, and the Indy 500 reign supreme. It's the drivers of the Hoosier State of Indiana. From just up north, welcome the drivers of Kansas. They might have bourbon in that fuel cell. It's the drivers of Kentucky. They brought us the Ragin' Cajun. It's the drivers of Louisiana. Please welcome the drivers from Massachusetts. Please welcome the drivers of Maryland. Where they built the horsepower and brought it to all. It's the drivers of Michigan. The land of lakes, the drivers of Minnesota. From down south way, welcome the drivers of Mississippi. where they want to show you something, the drivers of the Show Me State of Missouri. Welcome next, the drivers of Montana. Where they ran moonshine through them hills, the drivers of North Carolina. Please welcome the drivers of North Dakota. The home of the photo bomber himself, the drivers of Nebraska. The home of Unser and Herrera. Ladies and gentlemen, the drivers of the land of enchantment, New Mexico. Where they play at the King's Royal, the drivers of Ohio. When you talk about sprint cars, you put respect on the name of the posse. It's the drivers of Pennsylvania. Welcome next, the drivers of the Rushmore State of South Dakota. The land of Swindell and the home of drillers, it's the state of Tennessee. Just the other side of that Red River, it's the drivers from Texas. From up Dirt Cup Way, the drivers of Washington. Kurds, race cars, and shirtless Nate, the drivers of Wisconsin. As the teams make their way in, the Frisbees fly. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the drivers from the home of the Chili Bowl forevermore, from the Sooner State of Oklahoma! So as the drivers toss a few more Frisbees up into the crowd, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you the Grand Marshal of the 40th running of the Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy Drink. He is a two-time champion of this event. He is a USAC Triple Crown titleist, a NASCAR champion, an IndyCar champion, an NHRA champion. I'm pretty sure you won a stick horse race somewhere too. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Smoke Tony Stewart! Your contribution to motorsports goes so much further than this building. The purchase of Eldora, what you've done with your career to expand the viewership of this event, NASCAR, sprint car racing, and drag racing, and now returning to the Truck Series to compete at Daytona. Thank you on behalf of the Hahn and Edwards family, and thank you for representing this great event.
Thank you. It was this event that helped catapult our career. Obviously, we had made it to the NASCAR and IndyCar level, but having the opportunity to race here at the Chili Bowl and the notoriety that we got winning in 02 and 07, that was something that was really huge in my career, obviously. So, this event's always meant a lot to me. It means so much to everybody here, and it's not because the teams, it's not because the drivers, it's about these people and these race fans that come here. It's the atmosphere that we get every year. This is literally the biggest race week of the calendar year for so much of us here. So to get us all here at the same time and to see the friendships and relationships we have with a lot of these race fans that we see once a year, those are things that you can't replace.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a round of applause for our Grand Marshal, Mr. Tony Stewart. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have another driller to present here tonight. Without the partnerships with the state of Oklahoma, from the very top levels of the state to the regional to the local level, events like the Chili Bowl and racing around this state simply would not continue. It would not exist. So tonight we are honored to bring up to the stage, as this event is truly a unique one among motorsports. It is attended by all walks of life. The pool of competitors is just as deep as its fans. The growth of this event over the last 40 years has been in part of those partnerships, and it is with great honor that we welcome the Governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, and thank him for his support of motorsports in this great state. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the Governor of Oklahoma. And just like any good governor, he's hiding among the people. He's out talking to the people. He's doing his job. Governor Stitt, if you'll come up here. You represent the people of Oklahoma. It is the people's house for the people of Oklahoma. And this here is the people's golden driller. Thank you for your support of motorsports in this state.
Oh, man, thank y'all so much. It's so great to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma tonight at the Chili Bowl. We're going to have a lot of fun, and it's going to be a great race. Thank you so much for this trophy.
Thank you very much. Again, a round of applause for our state's governor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we would ask at this time, if you have not, that you would please rise for tonight's invocation and national anthem. Rowdies, it's time to be a little less rowdy. It is time to honor this great nation. It is time to pray. And before we get to our prayer, we would like to have a quick moment of silence. If you race, you know Smiley's Racing Products. The namesake and the founder of that company was asked back to the Lord's house yesterday. Smiley Sitton was an ambassador of the sport and a pioneer. And with that, we would ask you to give a moment of silence and a silent prayer for his family in their time of loss. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome pastor of Rhema Bible Church in Broken Arrow, Pastor Kenneth Hagin.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you. We thank you for this great week of racing. We thank you for all the things that you have given unto us so that we can have a great life. But Father, we pray for any of those that were injured during this week. I thank you that you would protect them and help them and give them a quick recovery. I thank you for all of those serving in our military tonight. Father, I pray that you'd bless them wherever they are in the world. Thank you for this great crowd. I pray that you'd bless everyone in these stands. Bless all the crew chiefs and the crew members. Bless all of the drivers and all of those that work on the infield. We thank you for this great week of racing, and we give you all the praise and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's go racing, guys.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a tradition 36 years. And in those 36 years, the same trumpet, the one he has used since junior high. To perform our national anthem, please welcome Kenny Kelch. The drivers stand before you. Expo officials stand before you, the staff. We gave a round of applause for the drivers, these staff, these safety officials that run into harm's way to protect our drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for these brave men and women. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to send him back to the pits. We're going to call him to staging, and we got to know, are you ready for the Chili Bowl?
couldn't have said it better myself, right? I don't know if Brian Holbert does any voice warm-ups before he does that, but every single year I am very impressed because there is no way that I could do what he just did right there.
He does voice warm-ups. He's been calling features since about 9 o'clock this morning.
And all week.
It's a pretty good warm-up, yeah. Oh, he does such a good job at electrifying this place, and man, what else can you say? It's time to go racing.
It really is. We have the C-Main cars going to be called up here very soon to the staging lane, and then we'll be in the final chapter of the 2026 Chili Bowl Midget Nationals. But opening ceremonies every single year here. It's the flag ceremony. Brian Holbert doing his thing down there. The governor being here, of course. And the reason I mentioned the governor is, I heard a couple years ago, and I'm sure that this number has been inflated since then, but I've heard this event brings multiple millions of dollars to the Tulsa area, and I'm sure the governor loves that, right?
Yeah, and the whole Tulsa economy too, I'm sure, between hotels, restaurants.
Well, it's not even just Tulsa. I mean, surrounding towns end up getting booked out.
Everything. It's a huge deal, and I think that just goes to show you. A couple of years ago, they signed like an extension to keep the Chili Bowl here in the Expo for a long time to stay, and it shows you how big this event is to this entire city, county, state, really everyone here.
Well, I joked during the PA earlier today. We had the mayor from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma here. I think it was either last night or probably was last night on Friday during Military Appreciation Night. And the mayor from Broken Arrow gets up to present a service member and their family with something pretty cool. But before she even begins, she goes, "Man, do I wish the Chili Bowl was held in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma every year, just because of the impact economically, socially, that it has on the town." But you know what I loved was watching Kyle Larson ride around in the bed of that pickup truck during the national anthem. One, what a cool tradition. Two, you got to wonder what's going through his head. And three, he's probably just taking one more last really good look at that track surface to make sure he knows what he needs to go back and tell Paul Silva and Trevor Canales for those last perfect little tweaks on that car.
And we know that he is going to roll off from the pole Brian next to Emerson Axman after the pole shuffle.
By the way, Kenny Kelch's anthem. I had to get that in there, man.
Yeah.
That incredible every year. Yeah, the pole shuffle, we know it's Larson, Axum on the front row, little battle of Paul Silva versus Kevin Swindell. Logan's third? Is it Blake Hahn fourth, I think? Christopher
Logan
Bell.
Yep.
It's going to be fun.
It is a stacked couple of first rows for the feature. We'll talk more about that, and we'll talk more about some triple dipping stats when we come back here on the Chili's pre-race show.
There's a moment behind the wheel of what I've built where power overrides gravity, and I hit that zero moment. Zero doubts, zero fear, zero competition. No rule or mold I can't break. And limits, absolutely zero. And there's a NOS Zero sugar to get me there.
Please hold. This will only take 24.67 seconds. In this arena, there's no margin for error. Every component has one job. Perform when it counts. Precision, strength, consistency, maximum performance development.
Racecar Engineering is your single source supplier for all your racing equipment. Dirt, asphalt, drag strip, street rod, or off-road. Their experts can keep you on the track and in the lead no matter what type of racing you do. Hundreds of brands, thousands of parts. Find them online at racecareng.com or call them toll free at 800-882-7231 and make sure to ask for your free catalog. That's Racecar Engineering, 800-882-7231.
The fastest growing name in the motorsports industry is the Racers brand of safety gear and apparel. Winners wear K1.
Impact Race Gear is your source for custom race shirts. We are certain that you will see the same things that hundreds of racetracks, teams, organizations, and manufacturers have already discovered. When it comes to quality and service, we simply can't be beat. We are not one of those here today, gone tomorrow print shops. Impact Race Gear has been trusted for years by racers all across the country. Give your fans and sponsors what they deserve. Simply awesome race shirts. Visit us online at impactracegear.com to learn more and start your order today.
We are just minutes away from the C-Mains getting underway. Wasn't sure if my microphone was working, but it definitely is now as you take a look at the jam-packed parking lot outside of the SageNet Center. Every single one of those cars coming in here hoping to be just as entertained as they have been every single night this week. The 55-lap feature is coming up here in just a few minutes' time. We're hearing the call over the PA system to get those C-Main cars up. Before those guys get on track, though, Brian, we've got some more of the triple-dipping stats, and the first one we're talking about here are the winning crew chiefs that are going to be having another shot to add their name to the list of Chili Bowl winners.
Yeah, the drivers, always get all the fanfare, and rightfully so, but I think we'd be remiss if we don't talk about the brilliant brains behind all the cars tonight, especially at the front of the field. You have Kevin Swindell, who's won 9 drillers in this building. Paul Silva's won 3 with Kyle Larson. Brian Kimenol has been a part of 1 with Christopher Bell. Chad Boats won 5 at the Tulsa Shootout and wants his first at the Chili Bowl. And they're all wrenching on guys that can absolutely go out and win the Golden Driller tonight, Tony.
I don't know if he considers himself a crew chief. Was Alex Bowman on that list?
I did not include him just on this list because I'm talking about Golden Driller winners. Right, but yeah, Alex Bowman, Matt Seymour, Blake Hahn working on his own stuff.
Well, I mean, regardless of whether he calls himself a crew chief or not, again, it's a big deal that Alex Bowman Racing has locked 2 cars in and not even having to worry about C's or B mains today. So that's exciting. But yeah, what a group of talented crew chiefs that are setting these race cars up. Everybody you named is worthy of being recognized, but Kevin Swindell as a driver and now in the second part of his career as a crew chief, it's really tough to bet against that guy.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, him and Bowman have the best chance when it comes to the amount of cars they have in the show at this point in time, with Axum starting 2nd and CB 4th, and then you got Leary back there in 10th, and then Briggs Danner starting in the 7th position as well. So they have the best chance when it comes to the amount of cars out there on the track in the feature event. Brian, the next triple-dipping stat, and I've always been told this for everything in life, the best offense is a good defense. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, so actually I was talking to Kyle Larson about this last night on the Victory Lane stage right before the Friday night A-Main, and he was talking about how he really feels he needs to draw the 1 for the pole shuffle. He eventually did.
Right.
Goes out, beats Emerson Axum, so he is on the pole. And the point in this, the last 2 years, Kyle won last year. The year before was Logan 2nd. They led every lap. First time in Chili Bowl Midget Nationals history that's happened in back-to-back years. And, I mean, it goes to, I know we hope the trend doesn't continue. We want a really exciting race with multiple different leaders, but it shows you how important getting the right starting position and getting out in front is.
Right, but you and I were just talking about, before we went live here on the Chili's Chili Bowl pre-race show, about the fact that drivers have come from outside the top 10 to win this race before. Heck, in just our qualifying nights, twice this week, we've seen a driver come from 8th on the starting grid. They've given them a very wide racetrack when it gets to the end of the night here inside the SageNet Center. I think they'll continue to chase that goal when we get to the 55-lapper. I get it. 55 laps is a lot different than 30. It's very different to prep a racetrack to survive that with 24 cars out there. But also, the best offense is a good defense. But once you're in the lead, you're not going to be playing defense for long in 55 laps. You're going to be going back on the offense against lap traffic when you get to them. So offense, defense, it's going to be elbows up, and people are going to be throwing hands pretty quick once this thing goes green.
To be honest, I would be quite shocked if somebody led all 55 laps with what we have seen this week. Every single race has had 3 different leaders. I think on Monday or Tuesday there was 3 unofficial lead changes. There was 2 different leaders in that one as well. But I would be pretty shocked. I mean, if history repeats itself throughout the week, this 55-lapper should see at least 1 or at least 2 leaders, I would have to think. And the final of those triple-dipping stats, more laps, more drama. Last year they tried something and went to 40 laps for the final A-Main. They have now switched that back to 55 laps, and so it is going to be a long way, almost 2 features for what we've seen all week.
Yeah, 55 laps is a long time. You add on 15 laps to what we had last year, and I was doing a little digging. So since the Chili Bowl has been over 50 laps, or beyond 40, I should say, there's been a lead change that decided the Golden Driller 9 times in that span. So, I mean, that really shakes things up. There's been 3 instances in the last decade, including 2 pretty iconic ones with Christopher Bell snubbing Kyle Larson.
You know, listen, first of all, the reason it's 55 laps is to honor Donnie Ray Crawford. So that's a great thing in itself, right? That's a cool way to memorialize someone who was a big part of this event and the Tulsa Shootout. So I'm not knocking that. Maybe this will be an ice-cold take. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I don't think anybody really worries about what I think. But I was a fan of the 40-lap feature last year. And simply because it felt like they were able to do different things with the track prep. And the first 15 laps or so wasn't spent racing in really heavy track conditions, right?
I agree.
Now, okay, but I'll play devil's advocate. 55 laps after it burns off, you still have a lot of great racing laps ahead of you. So I'm not saying it needs to be 40 or it's always been perfect at 55. I'm just saying that last year I liked that they changed something. I didn't hate the results, but I talked to a few drivers in the weeks leading up to this event, and several of them expressed the thought that big races are usually the ones that stand out in different ways, like lap count. So when you have a long race, it makes it feel like a big event. That's probably worth something if the drivers who are out there competing for it feel that way.
And remember, Tony, we had Kyle Larson on the High Limit Room podcast not too long ago, and he said that, the 40-lapper just felt too short. It didn't feel like it was long enough to be one of these huge races that everybody talks about.
It's probably Kyle that I'm thinking back to, but I had calls with other drivers that expressed that same thought that, hey, this is a huge race. This is one of the biggest races in the world. It should be longer. It should be different. It should be a test of stamina and setup and mental agility and all those things. So I'm not saying it's better one way or the other. I just know that I liked that they tried something last year.
Well, it is back to 55. It's going to be a long one when it comes to the A-Main here in just a few hours' time. Saturday's Soup Run here at the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals came with a lot of the bottomless chips and flips as the flip count has ballooned to 64. We'll take a look at some of those crashes after this break here on Flow Racing. The Chili's Chili Bowl Nationals pre- and post-race show is brought to you by Chili's and the Chili's 3 for Me, the best $10.99 you can eat. Let's jump into some of the bottomless chips and flips. I made a mistake there right before going to break. That flip count was 64 from the Chili Bowl Nationals official Twitter account. That did not include the Sunday practice, and so the actual number is 78. So 78 flips throughout the week of the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals with that Sunday practice, and we have had 24 here today. early on this morning. We have had cars getting up and over. The breakdown, 8 on Sunday, 3 Monday, 10 Tuesday, 7 Wednesday, 12 Thursday, and now 24 here today. And you're looking at a couple of them right here. Ooh, that was a tough one, as you're going to see this type of stuff early. Man, that was a big one. I want to say that was Jack Wagner getting upside down in a huge way.
Chase, these guys were getting upside down and flipping before you even flipped out of bed this morning.
You're probably, you're correct. Without question, is we got another issue here.
It was a lot of that kind of issue, right? Because in the really, really early mains, there were just some drivers that had not super reliable mechanically reliable cars. So sometimes guys would just stall out going down a straightaway, and then cars behind them had nowhere to go. And you saw several incidences.
And there's a couple of these wrecks were from yesterday as well. We saw Brian Strain's huge crash as well. And there was Stark getting upside down. And there is the 17 car as well. A lot of high flyers, and it seems like most of the high flying ones right here in this part of the racetrack on the front straightaway. Gavin Miller getting upside down in a huge way yesterday. We hope that he's all right. And then Steven Snyder Jr. got a piece of that one, battling inside the top 5. And then after the race, the checkered flag, it came out. Jesse Love, we saw an important update from him on Twitter earlier on today. He is okay after that wild incident. There's one up into the catch fence on the front straightaway as well. And Sammy Swindell's tough week continued on here early this morning.
That right front shock just exploded on him when he leaned down to go into the corner. And it was wild. That was early this morning.
Saw TJ Stark get upside down there. Here's another one. Up and over in turn number 4. The front straightaway. A couple of incidents here, just trying to get to the green flag.
Here's that issue I'm talking about. That's Rylan Gray, I believe, just coming in flying hot with nowhere to go. Barriers to his outside. Car stopped right in front of him.
Michael Facino with a problem here. The car broke, and Wesley Smith with nowhere to go down the back straightaway. He gets caught up, goes upside down. The bottomless chips and flips. There have been plenty of them, and that's why it's called the bottomless, because we're probably not done seeing cars.
It never runs out.
We're probably not done seeing cars getting upside down here tonight. Now let's take a look, of course, at the past Chili Bowl Midget Nationals champions, names that are etched in history forever. Kevin Swindell looking to add one as a car owner once again here tonight with Emerson Axon and Logan Seavey, but he has done it 4 times himself as a driver. You've got Brian Clausen, of course, the late, great BC. He won it back in 2014. Rico back-to-back in 2015 and 16, and then 3 in a row for Christopher Bell between 2017 and 2019.
Yeah, honestly, the first thing I think, and then you see Tanner Thorson picking up one in 2022 with Ryan Bolt Underwood Motorsports. Kyle Larson sprinkled his first one in there before that. Came back with Paul Silva in 2025 last year, and in between, Kevin had that reign with Logan Seavey as an owner. What I think about when I think about these guys winning their drillers is the first time they do it, and the emotion, and just the scene in Victory Lane. There's confetti everywhere, and just people are crying.
I was saying tears.
Oh yeah,
it's confetti and tears.
Yeah, it's an incredible sight down there, and it shows you how special this is to everyone. People spend their entire lives chasing a dream of winning the driller.
Tony Stewart got out of the car in 2002, so it was the biggest win of his life. In so many words. Kyle Larson gets out of the car in 2020, looks at the camera and says, "I'm sorry NASCAR, I'm sorry Daytona, but this is the biggest effing win of my life." That's what this place means. And you're right. When you see the emotion of a first-time winner, not like it ever gets old.
No.
Logan Seavey was on record as saying that earlier this week. It never gets old. But those first ones, man, because you just want it so bad. You don't know what it's going to feel like, and you don't know what it's going to look like when that spotlight hits you and you climb out of the car. That's what every one of these drivers are living for who haven't done it before, and the ones who know how good it is, they know how bad they need to get back to there.
And there's a lot of guys in the top 10 already in the main event that are looking to do just that. Emerson Axsom's on the list, of course. Blake Hahn, Dason Pursley, so close to the win last year. Just finishing second to Kyle Larson, Briggs Danner, Hank Davis, Justin Grant, CJ Leary. All of those guys already in the A main looking to get that feeling of being a winner of this event. You mentioned Tony Stewart there as well. He was quoted in an interview earlier this week saying that I was afraid to say it back in the day. I wanted to win. The Chili Bowl was bigger to me than the Daytona 500, which is absolutely incredible to hear from Smoke. We know that he has the background in dirt racing, but that quote really sparked a lot of talk on social media.
And he listed the reasons, right? At Daytona, you're beating 40, back then 42. These days, 39, 42 back then of the drivers you see all season long, right? Here, it's close to 400 drivers that some of them you may have never even heard of. I did research on Tony and his wins, and he talked about the minute the heat race lineups would come out when he was racing here in this building, he'd go through the pits and talk to anybody who might know the other drivers in his heat race to learn about who else he was going to be competing with, to know, does this guy take off? Is he good on the top? Is he good on the bottom? He referenced it and compared it to like how a professional bull rider might study the bull he's about to get on. Tony Stewart went out of his way to find out what the other drivers in his heat race would do, something that our post-race co-host, Tyler Courtney, I think, is very good at as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's been great to have Tony here as the Grand Marshal and saying so many good things about this event. Brian, you have some interesting things here that you were talking about before we got back live here. Of course, being the Chili Bowl Rookie of the Year is a pretty big deal. It's kind of like the Knoxville Nationals Rookie of the Year. And there are still, 5 rookies left alive here as we approach the C mains?
Yeah, we have 5 left, and you're going to see 4 of them pretty quick off the bat in the C mains. Jacob Boxell starting on the pole of C main 1. Austin Wood and his Matt Wood car is in there starting 7th. Colton Robinson and Keith Coons entry will be in the 2nd one starting 6th. And Gage Weldon's also back there starting 13th. That one takes top 5. But all eyes are on Jet Barnes, too. He's starting an outside pole of
Great
B-Main
chance
2.
to make it.
Great chance to not only be the Rookie of the Year, which is a big deal in itself, but make the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals A main
at
14 years old.
Jet Barnes was fun to get to interview down in Victory Lane on the house PA mic. But I really have been impressed by Jacob Boxell. He was down on the ramp. When did he run? Monday?
Monday, yes.
So he was down at the bottom of the ramp talking with Four Kings Racing crew chief, driver, kind of co-leader, I guess, Matt Westfall. And I've sang Westfall's praises already on this show. Boxell was an easy to talk to young man. He seemed like he was switched on, but not to that point where he's in some kind of crazy zone and he won't speak to anybody he doesn't know. So I like Jacob Boxell. I didn't know a thing about him before we came into the SageNet Center this week, and I've learned a little bit more about him. And the Four Kings Racing group has done a good job making Boxell and the rest of their drivers feel very comfortable. Again, I love the quote Kevin Thomas Jr. told me. He said, this team at Four Kings has made me enjoy midget racing. Probably, I'm ad-libbing here, but probably for the first time in his career. KTJ has long been a proponent of not being a midget guy.
Yeah, he's said that several times, and along with a couple other guys we've talked about throughout this week. But everybody is a midget guy when it comes to the Chili Bowl Nationals. There's no doubt about that. You can't be anything else when you're in this building. But it sounds like we are about ready to get cars on the racetrack here very, very soon. Again, we would like to say thank you to all of the Flow Racing 24/7 viewers that have been watching on Prime Video all week long. We appreciate your support. We need you to flip over to the Flow Sports app underneath the Flow Racing to check out the rest of the program. Thank you all so very much for watching the Chili's pre-race show. All three of us will be back for the Chili's post-race show after tonight's 55-lap main event, along with Sunshine Tyler Courtney to break everything down. We'll go to break, and when we come back, it's time for C-Main action.
You are looking live at the Expo Raceway in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the racetrack that only exists 3 weeks out of the year for tonight's coverage of the 40th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy Drink. I'm Caleb Hart, he's Clinton Boyles and Chris Wilner. Gentlemen, Dan Patrick used to say, welcome to the big show. Here we are. We started the week with 387 entries. We're down to 80 drivers competing here in the night program to get into that A main event, which will be 24 cars, 55 laps, $10,000+, but one Golden Driller coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where that really intensity and anticipation starts to turn up to another level. Opening ceremonies are over, Clinton. The drivers are getting their fire suits on. We've got cars in the staging lane. The butterflies, if you didn't have them earlier, you have them now, because this is where it really matters. All these drivers trying to be one of those 24 to lock in.
Yeah, definitely. The energy inside this building has definitely just cranked it all the way to the max. I mean, we're there, and it feels like it's such a long week, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, we're Saturday main events. It's over, and you're sad. So everyone trying to enjoy these last moments inside this expo building, and we have 9 races left, basically. It'll be
5.
See?
2 C's, 2 B's,
and an A.
and one
It's going to be
A-main
insane.
event.
It's going to be great.
So turn the volume up to 11. Settle in, sit back, because we got some elimination races to go before we lock in on our final field of 24. Plenty of stories to follow. We had some epic soup runs earlier on in today, but now you're starting to see some of the megastars come out and get ready to put on their big shows.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Darren Nida, Mac Leopard. Mac Leopard, of course, setting the new history mark, 73 cars passed, something that I didn't have on my bingo card when we started the day today, but we quickly found out just how exciting Chili Bowl Saturday really can be when we have not 1 but 2 drivers go through 8 mains. And of course, that wasn't all that we saw. We saw a lot of big heavy hitters have issues. We've had some really intense racing. We have had a racetrack, Clint, I think, that has been really racy throughout the day today. For as many races and cars that we've had on the surface, we just got a nice little rework in. It's going to be nice and juiced up here.
Yeah, from the time I showed up, I felt like the racetrack's been super good. There's multiple lanes to race on. Even when we got the full rework before my F main, I was like, oh man, I'm stuck, but drove all the way towards the front, and the racetrack has been really good start to finish today. Normally I feel like on Saturdays we see a bit of a just wide, slick, kind of can't do anything racetrack, and we haven't had that at all today. So track crew just doing I think a few small touches to this thing realistically, and we're going to continue with that pattern.
It has been a fantastic week of racing here on Flow Racing, setting records for viewership and such like that. We want to thank every single one of you who has tuned in, for letting us come into your homes and be a part of your lives for all of the hours that you've been watching, whether you've been with us all through Monday, making a soup run all day today. This is it. 5 more races to go to finish out the storytelling for this fantastic week, the best week of the year. And, they set it up at the Chili's pre-race show. Our Super Bowl. This is it. Drivers from every different discipline you can think of. Nothing other than the Wild West shootout going up against to compete it. You want to be here? You are here, entered in this guy, trying to be the final guy getting that Golden Driller at the end of the night.
It's attracted some of the biggest stars in motorsports. We talked about just the representation across the country with 45 different states, but also 6 countries. It's an international, just absolute melting pot of motorsports enthusiasts, of race car drivers with talent that goes just unparalleled to any other event that I think you can really imagine. And you're right, Caleb. This is the Super Bowl for a lot of drivers. This is the big stage. It has launched the careers of so many drivers. Heck, we listened to Tony Stewart, our Grand Marshal here this year. He said, this was the event that really kicked off my career. I even made it to NASCAR, but it wasn't until I won this event that that set me apart from the rest of the field. And so somebody else is going to maybe etch their name into the history books, or we continue on the story and the legacy of a driver getting another Golden Driller.
We have so many former winners still alive, still in the field with a chance, and so many young guns and people with a real shot to bring home their first Chili Bowl Nationals Golden Driller tonight. I think we've got a lot of time to tell that story and pull along through the storylines that we're going to have some fun. The A-Main's not going to be have a lack of anybody to watch. That's for sure. We'll have plenty of people to follow.
And we've had a lot of, almost the rise of some of the youth in this building. We had, I think, 85 Chili Bowl rookies once again, which that number continues to go higher and higher.
Yeah.
We may add a few more next year, but at the same time, they've stepped up to the plate. I mean, Mac Leopard is one of those Chili Bowl rookies that now is in the history books, at least for the time being, as far as the soup run. We had Jet Barnes, who's the current leader in the clubhouse as far as the Rookie of the Year in contention, as he's locked into a B main. coming up in a little bit. So, Clint, it doesn't matter whether you're a rookie or veteran. Everybody's showing up to play here this week.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone brings their A game here, and you're going to put your best foot forward because you get one shot at this, and you got to wait another 358 days till you can do it again. So I know a lot of people would cut off their left arm to make this A main, and these guys know that going into these C mains and B mains, and they're going to do anything they can to make it happen.
Just look at the nervous anticipation you got going on there on the on-ramp, and some guys can sit there quiet, eyes closed. This driver just sitting there twiddling his fingers, doesn't know what to do with his hands.
That's Cale Drake.
Yeah, Cale Drake, and he's a guy who's been inside this building before and has gotten tour. Other drivers have chosen to come out and take a peek at it, looking at the bottom of the ramp. Amongst others, Briggs Danner, Shelby Hinton, Tanner Thorson conversing with Hunter Brady down there at the top of turn number 3 and trying to make heads or tails of what they're going to see coming up for Tanner in a B main here in just a little while.
It's easy to just stand there and overthink things too, guys. Like, you have all day to wait around and fidget and just do this, do that. You've watched every lap all day long, and you should know what you're going to have by now. But it's easy to stand there and kind of overthink, over-discuss, over-analyze, and dial yourself out. So that's where I think the veteran experience of a lot of these guys comes into play, to where you see them get it right. These winners, these A-main starters, they can continue to repeat that success.
A look at Brady Bacon right there in a staging lane as we'll check in with one of our fantastic pit reporters, Brian Ward. Who you got?
Well, guys, you were just talking about the drivers standing here looking at the racetrack, so we'll talk to some of them. Briggs, watching this track evolve throughout the day, tell me what your thoughts have been on what you've seen and what you're looking at right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of looking. Don't really know what we're looking for, but just keep an eye on it. Was really kind of surprised with how wide it got today and how much the top of 2 opened up, so they worked that a lot. And we'll be able to see with these first couple races what we think is going to happen.
Getting both of the ABR cars locked in, how was yesterday and just kind of planning for tonight's main event?
Yeah, it was great. Just super happy to be able to be a part of it and to be able to accomplish that for Alex. And CJ did a really good job Thursday night. So yesterday was easy. Alex he said it's kind of a headache having 2 cars in a pole shuffle, but it's a good headache to have. So yeah, we're really just looking forward to getting to the show. I hate sitting around and waiting, so we'll watch a couple races and see what we got.
All right, wish you the best of luck. We're going to move on down here. We're going to steal Shelby Hinton. He's talking to Brandon Boggs here. Shelby, what are your thoughts on this racing surface and your plan of attack in your next race?
It's what I was down here talking to him about. I was just trying to see what they're doing, because every time they cut it like this, it's always a little different. It's not always the same. I mean, that, like right there, there's still standing water sitting on the top. So, I mean, that's going to be juiced. And it's still got that little ledge built up all the way to the center like it has had. But I don't know. I started pole the second C. I was trying to see how much they were going to do and how worn off it'll be by the time I get out there. And I don't know. It's one of those things where you're not going to know what you're going to do until you get to the first corner. So we'll see how it goes.
Going into your prelim night A feature and knowing that the track's going to be a little bit slicker and has had a lot of laps on it versus this one that's going to be a lot fresher, what changes do you make into the car, or is it more just your driving style?
To be honest, the way we're going about it is more of me adapting to it with my driving style, and because you got to be ready for when the track changes, so you can't change too much and sell out for a fresh racetrack when you know it's not going to be there the whole time. So we're just going about it how we normally do, nothing different, just same plan of attack. Bob knows what he's doing, so I got full faith in that man.
There you go, Shelby Hinton in one of the Beast cars. And I'm going to make my way down. You were mentioning guys in the booth earlier about Shane. I'm going to sneak over here. Tell me the stress level or the pressure you feel, or just your mindset coming into tonight.
Yeah, no real stress. I mean, I feel pressure just because I want all our guys to do well. I feel like we've had a super strong week, and we just want to try and cap it off best we can. Got a lot of cars in really good positions to make this show, so I don't feel a lot of pressure. I know my drivers on this whole team are gonna hustle it. They've done a great job all week. So I don't know. I'm too old to feel pressure nowadays, but I just want the week to finish strong, and hopefully cars can stay together. I can do a good enough job to give everybody, capable cars to be able to put it in the show, and then it's on from there.
Working on so many other cars, how does that either take away from or add to you being in the seat?
I don't know. I don't think it takes anything away. If anything, it just kind of wears me out throughout the week, but nothing, once you get in the car and you strap in, that doesn't really matter. I feel like everything, the adrenaline takes over or whatever, and I don't ever feel any fatigue or anything like that. But yeah, it's definitely a long week, but I enjoy it, or else I wouldn't be here. I like working with our team. All of our drivers are really cool to work with, and yeah, this is way too much work to not be having fun. So that's what I always prioritize every year.
All right, well, speaking of your drivers, I got another one that just walked up. Ryan, they talked about your car a lot early in the week. It's had a little bit of rest. Tell me what it's like coming into tonight and how prepped that car is.
The car's good. We were here early, got everything turned around, got all the cars ready, got tires ready. The team's ready. You get to walk around with your state. You get to see the fans. They're into it. We're into it. And we're just really excited to be in the position we are.
Ryan Bernal, part of that Matt Wood Racing group. Guys, drivers are heading up the ramp. We'll probably see them getting in cars and rolling down here shortly.
Thank you so much, Brian. And just looking at his interviews there at the end with Ryan Bernal and also Shane Golobic, it is a Matt Wood fest here in the B features. We've got, 4 of them? They're kind of split between the two. We've got Kobe Copeland on the pole, the second one with Shane right behind. You've got Ryan Bernal inside of row number 2 with Darren Pittman on the outside of the front row in the first one. So a lot of eyes are going to be on those 2 B mains coming up.
Yeah, very, very busy B mains coming up for that team. But they had drivers run very, very well in prelim night A mains, so that's what'll happen. The question is, you got the right resources in place to make that go through, and everything looks pretty good so far as they're concerned. They're right to your Flying A Motorsports picture. Obviously, you know where the Keith Kunz Motorsports pit is. The Matt Wood Racing is directly across from them, and if you still have that many cars going this late in the evening, even though you're here to win, you do still feel some sense of accomplishment that you got so many more of your race cars running at this point in time in the show.
Definitely. It's hard enough to just, race. We call it the nighttime portion, the CBA, and to have your cars in contention, that's a huge accomplishment in itself. Just give yourself a chance and then see what happens. I think a veteran like Shane understands that. He knows that there's no need to panic. There's no need to change what they're doing. They have fast enough race cars. You just maybe didn't get it done on your prelim night. And so here's your second chance to get in the show and see what you can do from there.
Boy, it is packed back there still, even with some drivers, putting the car in the trailer and being ready to haul out of here as soon as they can get their tow rig in and hooked up and going. It is just jam-packed here in the Expo Raceway. We need to take a timeout. We're coming back. C-Main number 1 and C-Main number 2 are next up on the program. The 40th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy Drink, continues next on Flow Racing. All right, time for the heart rate to raise a little bit again. As guys, we have got midgets down the ramp on the racetrack for C main number 1. C features will be 15 laps. Top 5 finishers will transfer into the back of their associated B main ahead of them. So the top 5 finishers here going into the back of B main number 1. It is a 20-car field. Jacob Boxell on the pole, Ronnie Gardner next to him, Jacob Denny and Jake Swanson in row number 2, J.J. Yaley and Gary Taylor in row 3, Austin Wood and Matt Sherrill in row number 4, Bradley Cox and Jonathan Beeson making up row number 5, the 11th and 12th starters Trey Zorn and Mario Klauser. 13th starter Brady Bacon to his outside from Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. It's Harry Stewart. Final of the lock-ins was Ty Gibbs out of Huntersville, North Carolina. And then your D-main move-ups. Joel Myers Jr., Cale Drake, Mason Hannigan, Gunnar Setzer, and Steven Shabester. Big C-mains. Lots of talent, lots of incredible race cars.
Yeah, these races, Caleb and Clinton, are A features anywhere else across the country. You get this deep into the program at the Chili Bowl, these are just absolutely stacked. I mean, arguably, you really could say that about the Ds, and even some of the Es had a lot of talent, but this is where you got to get up on the wheel if you're going to make a move to the front. Again, we're going to go 15 laps with the top 5. If you can get to the B feature, you get a little bit more help with some extra laps and some more lock-in spots with 7 going on to the A, but this is absolutely treacherous waters here just with the pure talent we have on the racetrack.
It's nuts. It gets really hard to drive by these guys. You're going to have, the cars in front of you making less and less mistakes. So to see these guys, make a quote-unquote soup run from here is going to be really, really difficult, but not impossible.
Nobody on more than 1 at the moment. So 1 feature and through for our transfers. That is it. Not expecting anything. So the records that we set early on today for cars past, main events 1 and mains run is all locked in at least until next year. Mac Leopard and Darren Nida setting soup run records earlier with 9 features contested. Leopard winning 4 of them, an all-time high, and 73 cars passed was the unofficial number that I saw for Mac, setting a new record. J.J. Yaley, the guy who got eclipsed on that one, going off the inside of row number 3. And for Yaley, all right, his name is no longer in the top of the record books, but boy, he could sure make a showing here and put that car into the A main through a C through a B if possible.
Yeah, I thought he looked really good on his prelim night. I mean, started on the front row for Rossi Petty Motorsports. I mean,
he did have a flat tire, the low left rear also that set him back. So
yeah, so
maybe more speed than it shows in that race car. And JJ had a great year outdoors this year. First year in a while we've seen him running, sprint cars outside again, and more than just showing up one time a year. So it didn't take long for JJ to kind of get back in form, and I think people maybe forget how good he used to be and how dominant he was back in the mid-2000s.
Absolutely incredible race car driver, and you're right, he has spent a lot of time behind the wheel of a stock car leading up into this year. This year, like you said, got some more seat time, and that's important when you're doing this thing as Yaley, one of those naturally talented guys, and if you can get him used to that feeling between your feet, your hands, your butt, your brain, right, get that all firing on all cylinders coming into the week, you're set up for more success going towards the end of it.
I mean, and he knows what it takes. 8-time Chili Bowl main starter, been coming here since 1994. I was 2 years old. That's when J.J. Yaley started coming into this building, which is pretty incredible, and continues to perform. He's been in the C main the last 3 years, so this is familiar waters for him. I think his best shot to get out of it and get back close to the feature here.
So Yaley inside row number 3, stacked up behind some pretty darn good drivers in row number 1 and 2. Jacob Boxell, one of the big surprises here of the Chili Bowl Nationals this year, front row out of Indiana to his outside. Ronnie Gardner really rallied to save his preliminary night, making that A feature, and a nice upfront starting spot for Ronnie outside row number 1, the Corona, California driver with the Indiana Pacers scheme. Looking forward to seeing him going side by side with Boxell. Talking about California for 1 second, I need to jump into my text messages as we were going through opening ceremonies tonight. We recognized Smiley Sitton, and Smiley, I'm going to miss you so terribly much. He always ended every single one of our phone calls with a thanks, pal. And it was genuine every single time. So, Smiley, we miss you. I got my red polo on for you today, buddy, and I hope you enjoy this A-main event. We also lost Don Fike today, owner of the RFMS number 3 that AJ Fike ran at so many Chili Bowls. He was an A-main starter a number of times. They were a prelim night winner with Darren Hagen once, and the USAC National Paver Championship with Hagen. So, AJ, Aaron, if you guys are watching tonight, we're thinking of you guys, and hopefully this gives you some entertainment. You can take your mind off the sack for a minute.
Absolutely. Well said. We're going to hot lap this first seat feature, of course, after the track rework. Not a major farming job, as I like to call it. At the same time, we're in this thing primed and ready for the final 5 races of the 2026 Chili Bowl Nationals.
I think it's important in these hot laps to run the top. Make sure these guys get it ran in. I know I spent some time up there in my hot lap session earlier, and I think that was really important on just getting that lane of the racetrack ready to go.
Chris and I spent a lot of time talking about that prior to the F-main events that had started. Not just getting up there and running it, but you had guys up packing it. And then you had a couple who dove off into the work area, which gave you another, 6, 7 laps of just wheeling around 2x2 and track packing it the whole time.
Yeah, definitely. And these guys, same thing right here, I think should get up and just roll those crumbs back in. That bottom side tries to dirty the top up. So it's important to get up there and roll those crumbs back in, get it packed back in, and then that'll help you when you go up there for your first time.
They want them in 2x2 right now already, but you can see a number of drivers putting their right side right into the crumbly stuff and trying to nail that down. That way there is an outer groove. You're not just waiting on somebody to miss the bottom. You can do something but try to drive around them if you got the superior run. We'll find out if they were successful. Why? They're doubling up, and we are going to see the one to go signal very soon here. A couple more people to get into place, and then we're going to be off and running with C feature numero uno.
Can't imagine the nerves for Jacob Boxell here in his rookie Chili Bowl campaign. Of course, had a big outdoor year, but man, to start on the pole of the night program, the C feature with drivers like Ronnie Gardner to your outside. You've got J.J. Yaley, of course, Jonathan Beeson coming from deep, GT. It's nuts. And then you've got a lot of talent that had to transfer their way too, as well as with Cale Drake, Brady Bacon at the back, Ty Gibbs as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to get there.
The absolute star of the shootout, Jonathan Beeson, outside row number 5. You remember what a miserable prelim night he had. D to C to B, and finally got her in the A, and his hard work put him outside row number 5 here in this C feature. He's got to get up to 5th if he wants to advance, as the lights are out in Tulsa.
Boxell and Gardner, your front row for this one, C feature number 1 at the Chili Bowl is underway.
Lower lane got the good start. They're kind of getting strung up at the top.
Oh, Jonathan Beeson getting hooked in the back, and trouble here. It looks like Joel Myers Jr. getting pinched to the outside. Shibester comes to a stop. Mason Hannigan in the 71. And the 45 also coming to a stop there as well.
Bradley Cox?
Yeah.
Beeson ends up getting unhooked. Go ahead.
Flat left front for Bradley Cox as Joel Meyer Jr. is kind of pinned on the left or the right front of Bradley Cox in the fence. Work crew's working on kind of getting these guys untangled here on the backstretch into turn number 3.
So they're rolling them through the infield right now as we watch the K1 Race Gear replay. That means 3 and 4 is not going to get any attention, but right now, Clinton, all of those guys can go up and pack in the top of 1 and 2, and hopefully that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I think. See if our camera guys can pick up on it. I thought I saw Ty Gibbs would have a flat left front after all that melee.
Yes, he does.
There he is. He stopped. So
I was going to say he stopped right here on the
whole
entrance of turn
axle
3.
is knocked out of that thing.
Oh, yeah, look at the shock angle on that. Gross.
They hate that for Ty. He was looking forward to this opportunity.
It's
Had a
gonna be-
monster shootout.
It's going to be a broken left front radius rod, which is fixable. If that axle is not bent and you just replace that left front radius rod, then you can be okay here.
Clint just looked at the axle at a quick glance, looked straight, but the radius rod definitely mangled inside the Monster Energy drink number 84. And they're already tending to it in the work area here. Joel Myers Jr. rolling into the work area, as is Bradley Cox with that flat right front.
I'd imagine at this point in the night you do get 60 seconds, so forget that left front tire. I get your radius rod first. If you have time to do both, you certainly can, but
Clint just asked, they do get 60 seconds of guaranteed time.
Thank you, Blake.
This is where those tight confines, all that work that needs to happen in the left front is hard on these midgets. Look how many hands you got in there, and there's just no space.
Yeah, they're going for a tie rod also. Chad Boat there.
While they work on Gibbs' left front, Bradley Cox needs to change his right front tire. He got a flat when they were hooked together. They've got the mud cover off that was punctured, but they're slow working here on Cox.
We're going to have to pick up the pace here. Yeah, we've doubled them up here. They're going to come around. That clock has already started.
It will be 60 seconds from the time that Cox went to the work area.
They're trying to get that tie rod across, but just look at the tight quarters.
Yeah, they're trying to get the Heim off the right front on that tie rod right now. That's what's stuck over here, but I could see it stuck through behind the axle, the new one ready to go in.
You've got 9 guys working at about 6 square feet of race car right there. Maybe even less.
You got to be down to about 15 seconds by now. They're going to get maybe one more lap around here before lights are going to go out. They're getting close, but
they don't even have the left
front. They got to keep going on the left front, yeah.
It's going to be quick caution time or no.
And I'm not sure if Bradley Cox is going to make it out. They're struggling on this right front, guys. It's going to be close.
We'll see what Terry Maddox shows here as they come off of turn number 4.
He rolled up the green flag, so lights are going to come out as soon as they come around.
Bradley Cox set to rejoin back here. Yeah, you're right, Clint. The officials back here telling him time to go, time to go.
Time is up. Lights out, field formed.
Boy.
Second try to start. Ty Gibbs needs a caution badly.
Yeah.
So does Bradley Cox, was unable to get pushed off. So 2 cars stuck in the work area. They'll continue on those as we will try the restart again and see feature number 1, Boxall and Gardner. Denny had a struggle on the opening restart. We'll see what happens here as we're green and underway.
Let's see if Gardner can get off the top of 2 a little bit better than he did before. Still hangs it just a little bit as they're bouncing around, but everybody settles down as shooting his way through after getting ping-ponged around. Yeah, Jake Swanson, rough, but he settled her in. We're up and running.
Swanson now going to get eaten up on the bottom. That's Mario Klauser there as Swanson will go to the top. He looked right in front. That's Matt Sherrill, who had a monster day going from C, B to A on his prelim night for Second Opinion Auto and Dan Patricia Harris.
Good news, there is 2 lanes of racing already 1 lap into this. So drivers will have a chance to advance up and around the top. Trying to make that move goes Sherrill as he had the final transfer spot the last time by. It's Beeson to the inside of him. They're both working out. Mario Klauser trying to keep them at bay.
Sherrill selling it out there on the outside. Beeson just running right there in the tire tracks of Austin Wood, who's in that 5th and final transfer spot. Cost of start-finish line, 10 laps to go. J.J. Yaley up there in the Rossi Petty number 3. Up in the 4th position, it's still Boxall, Denny, Gardner.
We have that backwards Wood than yet. Hard to say. I think our transponder system just a hair screwed up at the moment.
Trey Zorn, though, starting to make the outside lane work as Sherrill goes to the bottom, trying to race with Mario Klauser, and Zorn's going to circle the wagons, at least around Klauser, setting his sights on Matt Sherrill, as here's GT Gary Taylor with Mason Hannigan on the bottom and back up toward the transfer spot. Jonathan Beeson, that's the gap between 6th and 5th in the final transfer spot.
There we go, got her all sorted out. Austin Wood is in the 5th and final transfer position. Beeson is the one trying to run him down in that white with red tail tank number 8 car. Out in front of this, Jacob Boxall, your leader in the 44. Sitting in the 2nd place. Happy and content is Jacob Denny. We've got 5 laps to go.
Yeah, Jacob Denny right there as well, just rolling the bottom of this racetrack. Those 2 starting to really pull away, full straightaway over Rodney Gardner. J.J. Yaley, Austin Wood still holding on the transfer spot. Laps beginning to wind down as Jonathan Beeson really starting to close in now on the back of Austin Wood in that battle for the transfer spot. As next time around, it'll be 2 laps to go.
There is so much off the bottom of 4, the bottom of 2. The moisture patch is extremely wide, beneficial for him. As time for Beeson at a precious minimum, he's going to have to make up a bunch of ground and put the move on as we're down to the white flag.
Yeah, he's got to for Austin Wood to make a mistake. He's not quite close enough to really make a move yet. White flag is out. Trying one more time around. Austin Wood trying to hang on. Jacob Boxell off at turn number 4. We'll see the checkered flag. 5th and final transfer spot. Beeson's going to come up short. Austin Wood will hold on. So it's Boxell, Denny, Gardner, J.J. Haley, and Austin Wood. The 5 cars moving on to the back of B feature number 1. One step closer. What a run for the rookie, Jacob Boxell.
Denny, Gardner, Yaley, Wood finish it out. And forward in the program they go. We'll move up to C number 2. Second C feature is the names will continue rolling onto your screen. As the NOS Energy Drink ramp cam busy back there. Some teams disappointed. They will be going home. A couple of them still got a guy alive. As we'll roll the Donnie Ray Crawford Memorial Foundation 2-seater. We'll take a timeout. C2 coming up next at the 40th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals powered by NOS Energy Drink on Flow Racing.
And welcome back here to Championship Saturday at the Chili Bowl Nationals, powered by NOS Energy Drink, live on Flow Racing. Kate catching up here with Jacob Boxell. He's going to be moving to the back of the B main, buddy. We were just talking. Really benefits you starting on a pole after a track rework.
Yeah, definitely. When we were pacing around there, trying to run the grease in a little bit, I knew starting on the pole would definitely help us. And all we had to do was not miss the bottom, which, as a driver, I messed that up a couple times, but I can't thank all these boys enough that are spinning wrenches and all the crew guy we have. We locked 4 of them into the lower main, or D's and higher, so we've been thrashing these last few hours, and we got, I don't know how Gunner did, but I know we got Matt Westfall going up next, so hopefully we could get another car on the B main and with KT later.
These B mains coming up could be a feature lineup anywhere in America. How aggressive are you going to have to be to try to transfer into the A?
Pretty aggressive, like I was telling you under break. The boss man told me Nerf bars are cheap, so hopefully we can pass some cars. I know we started deep, but I think the racetrack's just going to get racy enough for us to be able to have a legitimate shot at it.
Jacob Boxell, guys, he's going to be moving on.
Man, I like his boss.
Yeah.
Nerf bars are cheap. Put that on a sticker somewhere, would you? Four Kings having a really good Chili Bowl Nationals. They'll continue on. Boxell moves up to the B main, and they still got some more to go coming up in just a little while. C2 is coming up next. BR Motorsports Speed Shot gives us our lineup, and Shelby Hinton and Kyle Jones start down in row number 1. Nick Hoffman and Hayden Wise, North Carolina, makes up row number 2. Ashton Torgerson and Colton Robinson in row 3. Ryan Timms and Trey Marcham in row 4. Matt Westfall and Frank Flood in row number 5. Alex Bright and Zach Weigel in row number 6. Your 7th row is Gage Weldon and Brody Graham, with your final lock-in to this C feature being Trevor Klein, Caleb Stelzick, Dylan Welch, Brecken Reese, Chase Randall, and Jake Newman. The 5 cars moving up from D number 2.
This one will be the C main of when do we switch lines. It's going to happen.
That bottom was wide, fast, and forgiving, because if you missed it by a little, it had a big patch to hit.
Yeah, and I don't think the top's as slow as it maybe seems right now. It's just really dirty. So you hang your left rear kind of in those crumbles, and your right rear's in the grip. So, you know, your car's got to be really, really balanced to make speed up there. And like I said, the bottom's still good, but I'm going to predict that we see that change here in this C main.
How quick?
About halfway. About halfway, I think, is when we'll see cars start to jump up and get that top kind of cleaned off to where you can at least, if you're better than the guy in front of you, drive by him or work your way around him.
You've got some pretty notorious rim riders in this. You also have some pretty notorious, I love that low groove guys coming up in it as well. So that should be a fun dichotomy of skill set versus line choice and adaptation.
Yeah, and the bottom of the corners is really good, but the bottom of the straightaways is actually kind of slick. So that's what's going to even this up is you can come out of that moisture on the bottom, and then all of a sudden you kind of hit a slick straightaway unless you start to pin it really low, and it won't take long for that to really slow down that bottom groove. Even though you can get in with grip, coming off the moisture exit is important.
You think the pace truck making all its laps around the bottom makes any lick of a difference?
Doubtful.
Okay.
Doubtful. I mean,
it's heavy, but those tires aren't super wide.
Yeah. There's a lot more race cars than there is the pace trucks, but I don't think the weight of that is enough to affect anything.
Now, if we put, like, I don't know, 22 Hard Rock girls in the bed of that pace truck, or at least another 6 or 7.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah, get a dually. There you go.
Do you guys ever make a hot tub in the bed of a truck?
I have not.
We did it once. It was pretty fun. That's the redneck. That's the redneck white trash Missouri kind of party.
We have hot tubs in Washington just to survive the winter.
Definitely no bush lights involved in that either.
No.
Well, front row for this one is Hinton and Jones. Kyle Jones, just sneaky good in this arena. We're about to see how fast he can really be dueling with Shelby Hinton in the front of this C main number 2.
Also
Nick
in this
Hoffman,
one,
Hayden Wise.
I was going to say, and then Torgerson and Timms out of the KKM stable were really fast, just went backwards on their prelim night. It was almost bizarre. Torgerson started on the front row of his. Timms got kind of plugged up in the fence on a night that he was projected to contend for the win.
Very slow, patient start coming through the corner. It is Hinton and Jones. Side by side into 1 and 2. Advantage Shelby Hinton. There goes Hoffman to the inside. Nick Hoffman looking to take over second early. Top 5 will be in transfer spots. Wise runs 4. And up top, Colton Robinson in position 5 with Torgerson looking to get underneath him.
There's a big old stack up on the bottom side of the racetrack that is allowing the top lane with Robinson starting to get rolling in. A little bit farther back, you see Marcham following suit there as well. That blue and black number 32. Trying to get this top side worked in, starting to approach the 7X of Kyle Jones.
Cole Robinson might be the first one to it, Clinton, and it's coming fast for him as he comes out of the corner. Down the back straightaway, it's a good run for Jones to hold third for now, but that top getting busy up there. They're making some headway as Robinson looking to continue climbing up this field. Colton Robinson down the back chute. Noses ahead. He's got the speed. He sticks that right rear tire down. Now you're watching Timms to the inside of Wise. That's the final transfer spot. Hayden Wise, the black and fluorescent orange, 94. Ryan Timms, the curb record, 71. Wise upstairs and give the spot to Timms for now. Timms, good down around the low side. Trying to expand it coming off turn number 2, and he'll do so.
Yeah, Wise and Timms, Wise and Marcham both got tight on the cushion the last time. This time, Wise to the inside as her and Trey Marcham start to get after it again. One spot out of the transfer spot. Here's Colton Robinson still working on Kyle Jones inside the top 5. That's for third. As Robinson now is going to leave the lane open for his KKM teammate. Here comes Ryan Timms on the bottom.
See if the teammates do some serious battle. Timms smooth. Robinson comes down to protect a bit.
Wheel to wheel. Torgerson just broke. That car took a hard right turn up towards the wall.
Torgerson was running about 8th before the yellow flag comes out.
That car just whipped to the right.
Guys, what happened there coming out of turn number 2, Trey Marsham almost kind of got up on the bike. He hit something here in the corner, and then he really woed him up, and Torgerson got right into the back of Marsham's 32.
So he locked the rears up, killed the motor. Things snapped back to the right and couldn't get it refired, so a tough break for Ashton, who, like Caleb mentioned, running in the 8th position. Big movers from the back of the field. Chase Randall from the D main, I should say, up 6 positions up to 13th. Dylan Welch from a D up 5, just ahead of Randall in 12th. Both those cars were locked in on the bottom of the racetrack. Was kind of taking a peek there as we were watching the battle up front. So Hinton, Hoffman, Jones, Robinson, and Tim